listening to the GM Shuffle, presented by DraftKings and VSiN.
Welcome into the GM Shuffle. The GM Shuffle is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. I am Geoff Schwartz, 8-year NFL vet, alongside, as usual, Marty Hurney, former Carolina Panthers general manager and Washington Commanders EVP of Player Personnel and Advisor. It's our Monday episode. We have 2 Monday Night Football games. We'll preview in a little bit, Marty, but let's get right to the action. We're going to do things a little bit different than Monday. Marty and I both obviously watch all the games, and Marty takes extensive notes. I take notes. And we're going to go through the games, and we're going to hear from Marty, from his perspective as general manager. It's the GM Shuffle, to see through his eyes what he notices in games, maybe different than what I see or what you see as someone who listens or watches this show. We always appreciate you guys giving us feedback on this show as well. And so we're going to go through the games, and we're going to get Marty's notes through every game. We're going to go through the things I see from a player perspective in these games. We'll start with, Marty, the game last night between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Detroit Lions. The final score there, 30-17. Chiefs get a big win. They're back to 3-3 now. Lions 4-2. A big fight at the end of the game. I actually turned the game off, Marty. I was on social media a couple minutes later. It was like, oh, there was a fight. There was a fight. Brian Branch punches Juju Smith-Schuster after the game. We'll get into that in a second, Marty. But from your perspective, what's the first thing that you noticed about this game?
Chiefs are back.
Yeah,
the AFC looks familiar again, and they have quietly come back to even up their record. And we saw this, Geoff, that building up the last few weeks about how the offense was getting their rhythm back, and now it was Patrick Mahomes' show, right? Threw for 3 touchdowns, I think ran for 1, and to me, the running game, they ran for over 100 yards and put themselves in manageable third downs, but they were just clicking on all cylinders last night. And it's not like the Lions played poorly. It's just the Chiefs were playing like we have seen them play for so many years.
So Kansas City called the game plan yesterday, and they've done this for a couple weeks now offensively, where they trust their offensive line. And I want to give a shout out to Jalen Moore, who played last night, instead of Josh Simmons, who's out dealing with a family matter at left tackle. And look, I think, Marty, if you were to say, hey, our swing tackle is getting paid $15 million a year, you would probably think that's a bad allocation of funds. And I'm sure it probably is in a sense, right? The Chiefs signed Moore in April to be their left tackle. They drafted Josh Simmons, who fell to them in the first round. Simmons ends up having that job, and now you have a $15 million backup. But guess what? If you miss Josh Simmons, you have him fill in, and he plays really well. You saw the broadcast highlighted his job against Aiden Hutchinson. Then after the game in the locker room, Andy Reid called up Jalen Moore and in front of the team and said, hey, man, you did a great job, which he did first start of the season. And they get Rashee Rice back today. Rashee Rice is back in the building today after his suspension. So the offense that has picked up its pace with the addition of Xavier Worthy back in the lineup gets Rashee Rice back now. And you saw even yesterday, look, Travis Kelce, what his role is now that there isn't as much pressure on him to be the guy each and every week, Marty, he's more open. What a surprise. Less attention toward him. And you look at the run game, I thought, again, they're moving under center, again, which is so helpful for them. They've done better under center. And the thing that stood out to me the most of all of this is I was very surprised how well the Chiefs defense played, Marty. It's a defensive line that does not rush the passer very well. It's a team that has relied a lot on Steve Spagnuolo and his pressure designs, and we've seen in various games this season, that's been a problem. Teams have caught them and made big plays. Lions had no answers, man. Chris Jones, after getting challenged with his effort last week, Marty, no lapse of effort against the Lions. He was really big in this game. And so this was a Spags game, man. Spags did such a good job. What do you notice from the Chiefs defense?
Yeah, I think that's the defense is, I think Chris Jones was a little bit embarrassed by the criticism week before, but the way him and Nick Bolton play off each other. And when you see Nick Bolton making a lot of tackles during a game, you know that Steve Spagnuolo and this Chiefs defense has it going. That's what they do. And I think that, again, it's not like the Lions offense played poorly, but the Chiefs were able to get some interior pressure, get them off the spot. And Nick Bolton, I thought, had a great game. And just real quick on the Jalen Moore contract, Geoff, that shows you why the Chiefs have been so good for so many years is It's just a common sense blueprint. Yeah, you're paying your swing tackle $15.5 million, but guess what? Who's he protecting? He's protecting your franchise quarterback, the best quarterback in the game, probably. So it's just little simple things like that when you do things that are a little bit out of the box, you do it for a common sense reason. And they know Andy Reid and Brett Veach, they know how to connect the dots. And that's such an important thing when you're building a roster.
The end of the game, we saw Brian Branch, right, punch Juju Smith-Schuster in the face after the game. And, Dan Campbell had to address him, Marty. As a general manager, what do you say to the player or to the coach when something like that happens?
Well, I think it's going to be more important now what the league says today, Geoff, because I wouldn't be surprised to see him suspended for a game.
Really?
Maybe not. But listen, Andy Reid came out and basically said that Juju's nose was bleeding, and I don't know whether it's broken or not, but that is one of the things that the NFL does not put up with. And if it was during the game, no, but after the game, like it happened, I don't know. I'm anxious to see what happens. It surprised me because, again, Dan Campbell came out and said, that's not the way we do things, and it's not. And then Brian Branch, either he said it or I read somewhere that he said, felt like he was getting bullied all game. And that's just not what the Lions are about. I mean, they embrace that, right? They're a physical team, and the Chiefs came out and gave them all they wanted physically. But it was really surprising to me because that's not Brian Branch. I mean, I scouted him in college, and that's just not him. But it's just frustration that overflowed. But I think it's a compliment to the Chiefs as far as, the way he said that he felt that he was being bullied.
Like, what does he mean by bully, Marty? You wear pads and a helmet, and you have hands you can also use to strike offensive players. Like, what does that mean, being bullied? I don't understand.
I knew that would set off your offensive line radar.
What do you mean bullied? Like, what do you mean? Look, Marty, hold on a second. Sorry. The thing that's great about this game, okay, is obviously you're allowed to be violent, right? From the start of the game to the end of the game. And one thing professionals understand is that you might be pissed at your opponent after the game, but once the game ends, that's it, right? You've had your 60 minutes to fight it out and to brawl it out. And there are games you're pissed at the opponent. Absolutely. You got under your skin. Maybe you didn't like there was a late hit, or they went for your legs, or something, right? Like something that was inappropriate, right? Spit in your face. I've had that happen in college before. But that's it. The game is over. You let it go. That's what professionals do. If you're what does it mean bullied mean? If you're getting punked, then you have opportunities throughout the game to get back at the wide receiver or to make plays that matter in a game to where you don't feel like you're being punked. So I'm kind of curious. And I hope Brian Branch is able to really expand on what that really means, because that's kind of an unprofessional thing to think and say for a player who's played enough football to know the difference.
He was upset about a blindside block, he claims. Okay, so I think that set it off, and I don't know whether he kind of flew the rest of the games.
How's that being bullied?
I don't know. And I apparently he said that it'll be interesting to read more. But you're right. It's an excuse. You can't do that stuff after the game, and I think the NFL is going to come down really hard.
I see the video right here. I mean, yeah, it's not great. I see why he's upset. Juju hit him right in the back. Should be a penalty. He was coming back in the box, side back. I don't know. It looks like football to me, man.
Yeah, it did to me too. I saw it. I mean, frustration,
yes, man.
And
you can be angry. Angry's fine. Okay, angry's fine. Speaking about angry, Marty, this game, in the grand scheme of things, was not the most important game that we saw yesterday. But a quote coming out of it was very fascinating. The Chargers go into Miami, beat the Dolphins 29-27. Kind of an uneven Chargers game. Kind of like Dolphins scored 14 second half points, took a late lead. Chargers come back, took a game-winning field. What came out of this game was the Dolphins quarterback talking about players have been arriving late and not showing up to players only meetings. Quote, we have guys showing up to player online meetings late, guys not showing up to player only meetings as well. Marty, what was your thought on Tua's comments? We don't often see a quarterback calling out his team like this.
What's he doing, Geoff? I mean, first of all, who's he indicting on that? He's the quarterback, should be the leader of the team, right? So if it's player-only online meetings, he should be able to handle that. And isn't that an indictment on him as a leader?
Yes.
It certainly doesn't look good on the head coach and really the entire organization. But if he's saying player-only meetings, first of all, who calls the player-only meetings? Usually it's somebody like the quarterback, right? And if he's calling them and guys aren't showing up on time for him, to me, as a general manager, I'm saying, man, we might have a big issue. Our locker room does not respect our starting quarterback. And then he makes it worse by going out and taking the problem out in public instead of addressing it inside the locker room. I think this was a really bad look for Tua. I think he's going to get a lot of criticism and questions on it. I just didn't understand what he was doing there.
So the thought maybe is he was trying to embarrass his teammates into coming to these meetings. The question I have, Marty, is what type of players only meetings are these? Because there are some we have throughout the week that are basically weekly. Like on Thursdays, we met with the quarterback, right? We went over blitz protection on our own after meetings were over. It was Thursday because Thursday's third down. We met with Eli Manning for 45 minutes. Alex Smith. Like that's a players only meeting, but there's also those quote unquote like players only meetings that we have, which is rare when you're struggling, right? Coaches, get out of the meeting room. We're going to have those. Those are probably not the ones he's talking about. He's probably talking about the ones where Tua's doing the blitz pickup meeting and no one's showing up to that, or no one's like, no. That's what I took from it, which is not good. Because to your point, you're the quarterback. You're in charge. If the respect is there, no one missed Eli Manning's meetings, Marty. No one missed Dave's meetings. No one missed Alex Smith meetings. And that's just not great. And I would have kept that in-house, but he let it out, and now he has to answer questions for that.
You're listening to the GM Shuffle, presented by DraftKings and VSiN.
Let's continue down the list of games from this weekend, Marty, and we'll start with the game overseas. I'm sorry to those fans in London to have to watch this game. If you woke up early on the West Coast, also T's and P's to you. 13-11, the Broncos beat the Jets. The Broncos scored 10 points in the first quarter. They didn't score again to the very end of the game. The Jets added a safety and 3 field goals. At one point in this game, near the end of the first half, the Broncos had 175 yards. The Jets had 1. There was a time, even in the third quarter, that Justin Fields had negative yards passing because of the sack yardage goes obviously to the passing. He was sacked 9 times. He was 9 of 17 for 45 yards. But let's talk quickly about the winners first here, Marty. The thing I noticed the most in this game, I think we've seen this a lot of times this season, Sean Payton does not think Bo Nix can handle an entire offense. That's what I see. And that he is afraid to give him full control of whatever offense he wants to run. There are way too many times they are conservative. There are way too many times when they don't push the ball down the field. And I don't blame him sometimes when I watch Bo Nix play. But Marty, I see an offense that is a little bit afraid of their quarterback being in charge of too much.
He's definitely still in the growing stages, Geoff, but I think you have to be careful a little bit because this game, good head coaches adjust to the personality of the game, right? So right off the bat that really the Jets offense is not going to be. I mean, the Jets defense came out first time the Broncos had the ball, create the first turnover of the year. Okay, they get a 72-yard kick return, and the Jets got 2 field goals out of it. They couldn't convert even one of them into touchdowns. So I think Sean Payton was looking at this game and say, okay, the old John Fox thing, more games are lost than won. If we don't lose this game, we let the Jets lose it, we're going to be fine. So I think he kind of went to a more conservative approach because his defense was being so dominant. You mentioned the 9 sacks. They got constant pressure on Justin Fields. And then they had Patrick Surtain just basically shut down Garrett Wilson. I mean, Garrett Wilson had 3 catches. Now, there were also several throws behind him. He could have had maybe 2 or 3 more completions if Justin Fields was accurate. But I think Sean Payton just decided, listen, Justin Fields and the Jets offense is not going to beat us. Let's not beat ourselves. Be very, very conservative on offense and let our defense win this game.
The Jets are so poorly coached, Marty. I don't even know where to begin.
How about
Again,
the end of the first half?
I understand.
Fake punt, and then you let the clock run out, Geoff. I mean, that was just poor clock management.
So it was, I believe, it was a 4th and 1, right? They I tweeted that they declined to go with their offense. Brought out the punt team, got a fake punt by like a yard. I mean, they barely got it. And then they called a timeout after the fake punt or before. It was just continued poor clock management. The defense played better, which is good. But this team is not getting better. And you could argue that Justin Fields is a problem. He certainly is not good. But they're not running the ball terribly well. Their defense finally showed up, so that was a little bit better. They had 1 sack yesterday, but sort of routinely harassed Bo Nix. And again, the barometer that I use, and I wonder if you use the same one for coaches on their first job, is like, are you just sort of like getting better every week? And you're going to have blips along the way, right? But Marty, this Jets are getting worse every week. How does Aaron Glenn turn this around, or even does he? I think he's done at the end of the season. I don't think the Jets can bring him back if they don't play any better.
Well, it's just how are you going to win games, Geoff? And you would think the perfect formula for an Aaron Glenn coach team, okay, a defensive head coach, would be to play defense a little bit. They just, yesterday was really the first game that they kind of flashed on defense and showed that. But play really good defense and run the football, okay? And you have a quarterback who can run the ball. You have Breece Hall. I mean, he's still, I don't think he's ever been the same guy he was as a rookie after the knee injury, but he's still a good running back. I mean, you have to be able to have a formula, play good defense, and run the football, and they're not doing that. And they just look lost offensively. And you're right. I mean, there's just we talked about connecting the dots, how the Chiefs have done that. The Jets do not do that. And it's just, makes it, I think you're right. I mean, I just don't see where they go from here, how they improve, because I don't think they have any idea of how they're going to win football games.
I don't think they do either, and it's not going to get much better here. But I'll tell you something that is good. If you like what you're hearing here in the GM Shuffle, there's even more VSiN Pro. Betting splits, power ratings, and sharp analysis, all for just $9.99 your first month. Go to VSiN.com/subscribe and check out all these subscription options. Let's get to AFC North battle here between the Steelers and the Browns. Steelers win 23-9. Marty, the takeaway here is that the Browns stick on offense, as we know. They get to score 18 points, and more than 18 points this season, I think. Only team in the NFL. And Pittsburgh is just doing the Pittsburgh thing, man. Like, you might hate it. You might not enjoy the way that they sort of win these games, but 4-1, top of the division, scraped 100 yards rushing, sort of got there barely. Rodgers was efficient, made some big throws, and defense played well. And this is the Steelers, man. They had 6 sacks yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, boy, did I miss on this game. I was so wrong on this game, but there are a couple things. To start from the Brown standpoint, I was really disappointed in Kevin Stefanski as far as having Dylan Gabriel, his second start, throwing 52 times. Geoff, you're not going to win with some of the best quarterbacks in the league throwing 52 times. I thought they would come out and try to run the ball. They did not. Conversely, I think that the Steelers set the tone. I think Jaylen Warren, although he had 52 yards on 11 carries, like he set a physical tone. He set that tone that the Steelers play with. And again, we talk about a formula, and the Steelers are showing that formula. The Browns, listen, this young quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, he's got some talent. He kind of, and I don't mean to compare him to Drew Brees, but the way he's an undersized, shorter quarterback, but he has that ability to see the visual passing lanes inside. So he can make some throws, and he's an accurate passer, but you can't throw him 52 times against the Steelers. So
Yeah.
Steelers dominated the first half. They only scored 9 points, 3 field goals, came out. The Browns defense stopped them on the first series of the second half, but then when they go to punt, Browns run into the punter. Steelers get a first down, go in and score the game, and that was the game. Game was over.
Do you think Stefanski is just trying to get reps for Dylan Gabriel and using this as a way to essentially give him a tryout and just, hey man, we're not going to win these games. You might as well just let Gabriel throw a bunch to see if he's got it. Is that a possibility, Marty?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look like that way in the first game over in London. And I was asking myself last night, does trading Joe Flacco earlier in the week, did that affect things somehow as far as Kevin Stefanski saying, yeah, we have to basically use this year as a learning, growing year from him, see what he can do. But I think, young quarterback's confidence is important as how he plays. And
Yeah.
I just think that when you put him in that situation 52 times against the Steelers in Pittsburgh, that's difficult.
I agree with you there. Seattle went to Jacksonville and won 20-12. Marty, do Jacksonville's wide receivers hate Trevor Lawrence? It's like that's what I'm getting. The only other way to explain the way they sabotage Trevor Lawrence every week. I mean, look, Seattle won, great for Seattle. I look at this game as a game Jacksonville just dearly blew, man. I mean, they had so many opportunities to just catch the ball and make plays and move the ball down the field. And the wide receivers for Jacksonville just routinely dropped passes and did not look comfortable and crisp. Darnold hit the big shot to JSN before the end of the first half, which was a big touchdown for them. But it's not like they had a great day. Seattle, 350 yards, a good day right there. Seattle was 1 for 12 on third down. I mean, they rushed the ball for 2.3 yards a carry, and Jacksonville just couldn't pull out the win here. Good win for Seattle, 4-2 now, 3-0 away from home again. More road wins for Mike McDonald's squad, Marty. But I look at this game as Jacksonville just blew another opportunity to win a game because their wide receivers can't catch.
Well, their offense isn't very good, Geoff, right now, and I think they do miss center Robert Haynes. I think that he's a really critical part inside at center. They gave up 7 sacks. I think Trevor Lawrence was pressured 64% of his dropbacks in the first half. He was pressured 16 to 25, I think it said. So, and then the Seahawks just stopped the running game. Travis Etienne, I think 27 yards, 12 carries. Again, I'd always like to see more carries here. But then, Geoff, I thought of you when 54-yard touchdown pass to Brian Thomas is called back because Travis Hunter lines up offsides, just lines up offsides. And I thought of Geoff Schwartz saying, Geoff would say they have him doing too much. You have to decide where you're going to play this guy. That was a big play. That was a huge play. And Jaguars offense had 10 penalties, but or they had 10 penalties. The offense had 7. But that was a huge, critical play, huge play in the game.
Yeah. He got 4 targets, I want to say. He did okay on defense, but Marty, for the life of me, man, I don't get it. Like, right now, he's not a top 25 player at either position. I mean, he's drafted 2nd overall. Like, he needs to be an elite. He needs to be a top 10 player at a position to just find that draft pick, and they're not doing that right now. I don't get the point of this.
Can't line up all sides, Geoff. Hey, real quick on the Seahawks side, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Now, he had 8 catches on 13 targets for 162 yards in a touchdown. This guy has been overlooked since he came into the league. Okay, he was drafted 20th, a great pick by John Schneider. And he basically dropped. I mean, remember, this guy set a Rose Bowl record, 15 catches for 347 yards receiving in his sophomore year. And his junior year, he comes, tears his hamstring 3 games in, okay? it heals. He makes the decision not to return to Ohio State for the college football playoffs. So I think that had some teams looking at him with question marks. But all this guy does is make catches and big catches and game-changing plays. I mean, he would have, if he played out his junior year, I think he would have been a top 10 pick.
I'll disagree with you there. All right, we'll hit some more games next on the GM Shuffle presented by DraftKings Network.
You're listening to the GM Shuffle, presented by DraftKings and VSiN.
Back on the GM Shuffle, we're continuing our look at Sunday games, what notes and nuggets we have from each one of these. And remember, we'll end the show today with a Monday Night Football preview. We have 2 games tonight on Monday night and our best bets for the week. And we'll hit those to end the show here. Marty, let's get back on track with some of our game reviews. Tampa Bay beats the 49ers 30-19. Tampa now 5-1. Niners fall to 4-2. The takeaway early for me is Baker Mayfield's a dog, man. I love watching him play football. 17-23, 256, 2 touchdowns, a big scramble there to get out of a couple tackles and continue a drive. That was a 15-yard carry on that one. And look, Tampa Bay has a ton of injuries right now. Mike Evans is out. Chris Godwin is out. Their offensive line is beat up. Emeka Egbuka got hurt in this game. And here's Johnson, right? Here's Tez Johnson making plays. Cade on 5 for 51. Sterling Shepard added 2 catches, and Rachaad White had 65 yards out of the backfield as a running back. Man, this team, they are impressive, man. Look, Marty, I don't know how elite this team is, but they're a team that I think really understands what they are. And they play to what they are and their strengths, and they play freaking hard, man. And that's a testament, I think, to your quarterback and Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, and I don't think Todd Bowles gets enough credit as a head coach, Geoff. And, he plays for Richie Pettibone in Washington. He coached under Bill Parcells, and both those guys taught him an old school discipline philosophy where, on defense, you stop the run first. You tackle. You limit explosive plays. You're stingy in the red zone. That's how the Bucs play defense. And now Baker Mayfield comes along, okay, and makes these dynamic plays. He's covered by 8 guys in the pocket, and all of a sudden scoots out on 3rd and 14 and gets a first down. And he basically has completed the circle. And you're so right, the Tampa Bay offense, now they're without all 3 of their top receivers, and he's still finding a way to make plays and score. This is a really tough team that isn't getting a lot of credit because you're right, they're not real flashy. But, boy, I tell you, I can't think of a better team in the NFC right now than Tampa Bay, and it's going to be very interesting how they play next week if they don't get Egbuka back, and I don't think the other 2 guys are ready to come back. So now they're without their top 3 receivers, but they have found a way to win each week.
Dude, they continue to find ways to win, man. It's impressive to watch. Marty, the Niners, I'm worried, buddy. They lost Fred Warner for the season. Nick Bosa's already out for the season. Their injuries are piling up quickly. And I mean, you just how do you lose Warner and Bosa and continue to be as good on defense? Right now in DraftKings, to make the playoffs, no, plus 320. It's worth a look, Marty. Eventually you just don't have enough dudes to stop anybody.
Yeah, this Fred Warner injury, Geoff, I mean, it hurts them more than Nick Bosa, as crazy as that sounds. And you could tell Kyle Shanahan's running off the field at halftime. They go to interview him. First thing he says is, "Oh, yeah, we are all bummed about Fred Warner's injury." I mean, he's the guy who is the glue to that defense, okay?
Absolutely,
He gets the communication. He communicates. He makes everything run smoothly. That loss is just really going to hurt them, I think. And listen, we said Kyle Shanahan has done a great job of overcoming all the obstacles so far in this early in the season. I don't know if they can do it with Fred Warner. That hurts. badly.
It does, and we'll see obviously how they're able to make some magic there. Are the Niners, do you think, in the market to add anyone, or just at this point there's just no reason to do that?
John Lynch is always looking for opportunities. I mean, he's one of the top general managers that are always looking for ways to improve. But I just think it's really hard, to kind of add guys and redo your blueprint this part of the season. But they will look. I mean, the 49ers are an aggressive organization. They're going to do whatever they can do to stay competitive. But I just think the injuries are catching up with them.
I'm with you there. Let's move on to the Patriots go into New Orleans. They win 25-19, a weird officiated game, but to me the takeaway is quite simply this. Drake May is churning into possibly the best quarterback of this class. We talked about this a lot, Marty. Who'll be the best quarterback of this class? It's only Jay and Daniels, but right now, Drake May among second-year quarterbacks, okay? He's first place in all of these. Now, that's taken into consideration that Daniels missed time, right? But
yes,
completion percentage over expected, touchdown passes, touchdown runs, yards per pass, yards per game, explosive passes, passer rating, EPA, and success rate. First in all of those categories. He continues to improve every week. And that's, mind you, that's with that really odd pass interference on, they call it Stephon Diggs, that took away a 55-yard pass. I mean, Drake May should have been well over 300 yards passing in this game. Whatever they're doing in New England, they are getting Drake May on the right path for success.
Yeah, I really have tried to make sure to self-evaluate my evaluation here on the Patriots and Drake May, because everybody is excited now, and rightfully so, that Drake May is starting to remind you. You had a Hall of Fame quarterback play with the Patriots under the tutelage of Josh McDaniels, and win a lot of Super Bowls. And boy, Geoff, this guy Drake May is starting to listen. He's smart. He's got a work ethic. When you went to North Carolina and he was there, they kept telling you his best football is going to be in the NFL. He's got all the athletic ability. He's got all the intangibles. He's got everything you need. And in the last 2 weeks, we have really seen that come out. And Josh McDaniels has to get credit, right? I mean, he has helped this guy grow in the second year into a guy who is going to make a difference for him. And both Jaden Daniels and Drake May are difference makers. I think Caleb Williams is going to be a difference maker. But he's just got such an exceptional command for the offense for a second-year quarterback. He's got the athletic ability. He can run, and he sees things, Geoff, and he makes decisions quickly. And I think some of the credit there goes to Josh McDaniels.
I think a lot of it has to, right? I mean, a lot of it has to go to what he's done there, and getting Drake May, in just improving every week, as we talk about, right? The improvement every week is what you want to see. I'm not sure New England's defense is that great at the moment. They've just played, Buffalo, the good game. Buffalo had a bunch of turnovers, but look at the Patriots schedule. You ready? At Tennessee, versus the Browns, Falcons, Bucks, Jets, Bengals, Giants. I mean, Marty, they're going to be a 10-win team, I think, this season. And I'm not sure that all of us saw that coming.
No, I mean, go back to as recently as last week. If they lose to the Bills, they're 3 games behind in the division, right? They beat the Bills. They cut it to 1, and they basically have the tiebreaker, although they do play again in New England. But they have the head-to-head right now because they've beaten the Bills. So this is a race in the AFC East, and I don't think anybody thought that was going to happen. So they're playing extremely well, and when you score points and you have that type of quarterback in this league, you're always a danger.
I agree. I agree. It's impressive to see what they're doing there. Let's get to a game that I think I ended up getting right this week. The Panthers beat the Cowboys 30-27. That's now 2 wins for Carolina, who moves to 3-3 on the season. The story in Carolina is their run game. They're down multiple offensive linemen. It has not mattered. Rico Dowdle the former Cowboys running back, has saw his workload increase the last 2 weeks. Against the Dolphins, 23 carries, 206. Against the Cowboys, 30 carries, 183. He's a great example, by the way, Marty. Talked about this on Thursday, I think, about the addition of running backs to your team. And the Panthers spent some high draft picks on running backs, and they weren't ready for those guys. They didn't need those guys. And here comes a free agent you pay $3 million a year or two, who is on pace to have 1,000 yards rushing. That's the path in my mind, unless you're a team ready for a running back early in the draft. But dude, the offensive line, man, they had, I think, 7 rushes yesterday of over 15 plus yards. That group was dominant. It was dominant performance. Bryce Young's doing enough. McMillan's stepping up. He's becoming a really good football player, wide receiver. But Dowdle, man, he's playing really well, Marty.
It really is, Geoff. And the question is, okay, and there was a lot made of it yesterday about how the Cowboys didn't re-sign him, and this was kind of his revenge game. And he came out and he certainly, I mean, I just kept laughing to myself saying, okay, how many people are saying Jerry Jones came out and said they have to trade Micah Parsons to improve their run defense, and now they can't pressure the passer or stop the run. So, but he came from the Cowboys, and he's exactly what this offense needs. Listen, with Bryce Young, who I have always liked, I still think he's a good quarterback. You have to put the weapons around him, and the best weapon, other than a real good tight end for a young quarterback, is a really good running game. And that's what they've done the last 2 weeks. Dave Canales has done a great job of putting the pieces together. It's almost like he's just still getting a better feel for his personnel. And now he's starting to move the pocket more with Bryce Young, get him out on the perimeter where he excels. That's one of the many things I liked about his game in college is he's got eyes in the side of his head, Geoff. So he can be rolling out to the right. Somebody can be crossing the middle and he'll see him and hit him. So he's playing extremely well right now. And I think the running game helps him immensely.
It does. It helps a lot of quarterbacks, right? That's not anything new here, Marty. But eventually, if you're more balanced, you put less on the quarterback. Quickly here, Dak Prescott's still playing good. The team around him is not very good. It kind of stinks because Dak's doing a really good job, I think, of making the most of that situation. George Pickens, nearly 170 yards yesterday. Great trade for Dallas. Talking about the Parsons trade maybe being bad. The trade here for the Cowboys worked out really well. All right, time to hit some Monday Night Football preview. We got 2 Monday Night Football games. We'll do that next in the GM Show, presented by DraftKings Network.
You're listening to the GM Shuffle, presented by DraftKings and VSiN.
All right, Marty, we're back here. We'll get to Monday Night Football preview in just a second here. One more game we want to hit on quickly. The Colts go to 5-1. They win 31-27. But the story of this game is Jacoby Brissett, who played for Arizona, 27 of 44 for 320, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. That included, I believe, for some period, Marvin Harrison Jr. was actually out, right? He was beat up a little bit. I don't know if he came back in the game, but certainly was out of the game. And the question we're all asking ourselves, is Jacoby Brissett better for this offense than Kyler Murray? And I'll throw it to you first, and then give my thoughts afterwards. What do you think?
When I evaluate quarterbacks, one of the things that you look for, and it's more of a field thing, is that when good quarterbacks are in the game, everything's calm. Everything seems to go more in slower motion. Whereas when a guy that's struggling is behind center, everything's fast, everything's hurried. And I think the Cardinals' offense yesterday looked calmer, looked like it slowed down. And I think Jacoby Brissett does a better job of seeing what's out there, seeing what's open, going through his progressions, not kind of pulling the ball down and getting out of the pocket at first sign of pressure. And I just thought that the Cardinals offense just had more of a plan and looked like it had a little bit more confidence, actually. I mean, I like Jacoby Brissett. I've always thought He is definitely a top-end backup, but I think he's a low-end starter, and he's a great guy. He's a leader in the locker room. He helps all the young players. I know those guys have to respect him. It just looked like the Cardinals had more confidence and were more efficient with him at quarterback.
Look, there's the ups and downs of Kyler Murray, obviously, right? As we know, and the ups are really good. The downs are not, and I think that's sort of the concern. Is like the downs happen too much with Murray, and is it easier with Brissett just to remain? You know what you're getting. You're just sort of that calmness, right, with Brissett. But there's a situation too where we saw, Marcus Mariota play well in his first start, then didn't play poorly in the second start, right? Like Jake Browning played well, then he didn't play well. Like,
right,
is that situation where it's good against the Colts, but it might not be good? I got to look who they're playing next. Is it going to be as good against the Packers this weekend as it was against the Colts? I don't know. Like that would be the question. I think Murray's back anyways this week, but in spot starts, maybe Brissett looks good, but he's not a starter for a reason, Marty. So I don't know if it makes him that much better.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's a starter, and the old 10 Marshborough thing, backup starts 6, a real good one, and you win 3. But I was just saying that, in the Cardinals case, does what Jacoby Brissett did yesterday make a statement on Kyler Murray to you?
It does, but I want to see a little bit. I would like to see more weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of that. So that's it. I just want to see. I want to see more of that.
All right. Don't think the Cardinals need to go out and get a quarterback. They need to draft a quarterback. The Cardinals is what.
In the future, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Next up here, let's get to Monday Night Football previews. Buffalo at the Falcons. Marty, how about this? Falcons head coach Raheem Morris, as a head coach in the NFL, is 4-16 against the spread as a home underdog. You heard that right. 20 games covered, 4 of them. The number tonight is Bills 4.5 right now. They're off that loss to the Patriots. I like Buffalo way too much in this game. It's super public. I get it, Marty. But I think they're going to bounce back. I think the overreaction to the loss against New England was kind of odd, in my opinion. It's the NFL, man. You lose games. You turn them over 3 times, you're going to lose the game. That's the way the NFL works. And they don't turn the ball over. They're inside. They're on turf. Like, I'm all in on Buffalo in this game. I don't really like Atlanta. That they're too up and down. I mean, they play well one week and then you lose, to the Panthers 30-0. What is this Atlanta team? I don't know. They're 20th in offensive efficiency right now. They're 1 on defense, which is rather shocking. Special teams, they're 30th. I like Buffalo, man. I like Buffalo to win and cover this game.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough one. I always I like what Atlanta has done. I've said this, drafting and the offensive players they've drafted in high rounds. If the Bills have an Achilles heel, I would say it's against stopping the run. Okay. And now they're going against tonight one of the most talented running backs I have seen in a long time. Bijan Robinson is a beast. So in order to stay close and win the game, I think Atlanta has to come out and run the ball with Bijan and with Tyler Algiers out of BYU, who I loved. I think they have the ability to slow the tempo down and sort of they have to play at their pace. So if they've got a chance tonight, that's what they have to do in my opinion.
Look, they're much better when Milano plays, as we know.
Yes.
And he's not healthy. And so for Buffalo, it's all about, to me, with Buffalo every single season, getting to the finish line of the regular season healthy as possible to get ready to beat Kansas City in the postseason. Like that's their goal. And obviously along the way, getting the 1 seed would be super important for them. But just getting to that point, Marty, where you enter the postseason as healthy as possible. And that's their goal. I think they win tonight. What I think is a more fascinating game is actually the second game. And they're a little staggered tonight. I think they're an hour apart. They're not back to back, but Chicago Bears, at the Washington Commanders here. Bears off a bye, Commanders off that good win in Los Angeles. Remember, that game started 10-0, and they scored 27 points in a row. As Daniels came back, he felt a little healthier. This number's ballooned out to 5.5 right now. I'm curious to see what the Bears did on their bye, Marty, because they're off 2 wins in a row. They're against competition that they should be if they want to be where they're at. I don't like the early bye. I actually hate early buys. I think it's a bad spot to have a bye after week 4. But what do they do off the bye to continue Williams in a rhythm and feeling good about where he is in his progression? And is that going to be enough against a Commanders team that I think feels much better about themselves after beating Los Angeles because Daniels is back?
The Bears are a team in still developing, right? And I think they're going to be good, and I think Caleb Williams is going to be really good. But they are in a lower stage than the Commanders are. I think the Commanders are quietly could end up, if they're not the top team in the NFC, they're going to be top 3. I think they're top 3 right now. And they are quietly getting better, Geoff. Their offensive line is Chris Paul has played in there, I think, started for Nick Allegretti. I think they made the change 3 weeks ago. He is a really good player. 7th-round pick out of Tulsa. When he was a rookie, Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne went to Ron Rivera and said, this guy's the hardest. This guy blocks the best we have in practice. He's the hardest guy to play against. So, and now you got Sam Cosmi that is doubtful right now, but he's coming back. So the interior of that line is just going to get stronger and stronger. Jaden Daniels making plays. I like the Commanders a lot. I think they are just going to keep getting better and better.
And they moved, correct me if I'm wrong here, right? They moved Wiley inside the guard and put Connolly at right tackle. And then I would imagine when Cosby comes back, they put Wiley back at tackle, I think, unless Connolly's playing well enough. He has up and downs. Yeah. Connolly's looked like a rookie who needs to get stronger. And you'll see tonight against Sweat. The thing about the Bears, it was better last game, but Marty, they have just not rushed the passer very well. It's been surprising with the talent they have. It happened better, and it's a long time ago. Like I think they beat the Cowboys, right? They rushed the passer. Well, the Cowboys were also down, I think, 3 offensive linemen in that game as well. So as you mentioned, the Commanders healthy, right? They're getting healthier. They're different than the Cowboys. Defensively, are the Commanders as good, better, or worse than last season?
Right now, I would say they're basically the same. But I do think they need to get better. One of the things about their offense, Geoff, we got to check Deebo Samuel's status for tonight. I think he was questionable. They said he was a game time decision. Obviously, with Terry McLaurin out, they could use him. Although I just feel like they will have guys step up like the Luke McCaffreys and step up and fill the void. But defensively, I think that they've improved their front. I think their defensive line is better and deeper. And I think they I just look at them as kind of a middle of the pack defense right now. Their secondary's had some problems. I know that there's been some criticism of their play, but I think they are. I think they're an average defense right now.
I'm with you there. All right, Marty, we got to get to our best bets here presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. These are not be Monday Night Football, so we're looking ahead to next week here, Marty. What do you like?
I like the Rams Jaguars Sunday morning. I like the under 45.5, Geoff. We talked about the Jaguars' problems on offense. The Rams are a team that they're a team that I think we all have to watch in the corner of our eye because I don't think they've been playing great, but they found ways to win games. And I think that they're going to go over to London. They played in Baltimore yesterday, so they kind of arranged it. So they go to Baltimore and then fly from Baltimore to London. I think that their offense will score enough points that now Puka Nacua, we don't know his status. So that's going to be a question mark. And will he be 100% if he is back, which nobody is. So I like the under 45.5 with the Rams Jaguars.
I like that. If Jacksonville's also the wide receivers just keep dropping the football, that certainly helps there. Quickly, mine, I'm taking Carolina on the road, getting 1.5 at the Jets. Jets just aren't good. I don't know how you back the Jets. I mean, maybe this is the week, Marty, that they play well all of a sudden. I don't know. I'll gladly bet against it for right now, and maybe I'll look like the dummy when all's said and done. But I'll take Carolina here plus the 1.5. As a reminder, GM Shuffle drops every Monday. We recap the weekend. Every Thursday, we look forward to the week ahead of us. You can find us on YouTube, wherever you get your podcast platform of choice. As usual, we'd love to get your ratings or your reviews. Send us a tweet, send us a comment in the iTunes, whatever you want to do. We really appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys on Thursday. Enjoy the games.